Sloppy Joe here. So welcome to Christmas 2014. It's December 25th. It is roughly 8 o'clock in the morning. Julia, my wife, she had to scoot off to work for a few hours downtown. She decided to put in a few hours today so she could have all of Friday off so she could shop after Christmas sales, etc., etc. So anyway, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, wherever you are, whatever you're celebrating. Welcome to the channel. This, of course, is the Seattle Shooters Suburban channel, Sloppy Joe channel, whatever you want to call it. We're here. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet, so bear with me. So, last night, Christmas Eve, we decided to do gift exchange because Julia would be working this morning. So, that brings us to what she got me. And what she got me was in a box. It was in this box. And judging by the size and kind of box it is, some of you may have guessed, it's a gun, and it is. So that means this video is going to be kind of a out-of-the-box first impressions video, which it is. And what's in the box is nothing. It's empty because the rifle is sitting next to me. I just wanted to show you what comes with it. So what comes with it is loosely packed foam, which is awesome. Some bubble wrap. And then a barrel flag. A Tapco plastic crappy mag. A Yugoslavian bolt hold open magazine that's got 30-year-old Cosmoline on it, and it is glued to this bubble wrap, which is also very cool. So that's going to need some cleanup. And a factory card, some instructions. That's what comes with the weapon. The weapon itself is, let me get this out of the way. It is a Zastava Npap underfolder. So, this is a rifle I've been talking about buying for a couple months, and Julia decided she was tired of hearing me talk about it, so she decided to buy it for me for Christmas. So, that is cool. She's awesome. Love her. She, she contributes and allows me to indulge in my silly male things, this being one of them. And it's an underfolder. It's zastava. It's cool. I like it. I've been wanting one of these for a while. The price point is right. I think they fall just under $600. I knew it was coming because Julia, not being a full-fledged, full-blown citizen of these United States yet, could not do all the FFL paperwork. She could buy it and have it shipped, but I, of course, had to go and fill all the paperwork out, etc., etc., and I come back clean and clear, and, I'm good to go. But she bought it, had it shipped, I went in, picked it up, and she inspected the rifle while I went into another room and looked at other toys and guns and stuff. So she checked it out, made sure it is what it was supposed to be, all that good stuff. I filled out the paperwork, and out we went. She took it home, wrapped it up, put it under the tree. So I knew what it was, but I didn't see it, so that retained a little bit of that childhood Christmas giddiness, and can't wait for Christmas morning so I can play with my new toy. But I opened it on Christmas Eve. Like I said, she had to go to work today, so we did gifts last night. Anyway, so if some of you are familiar with these, you'll notice I already changed out the grip. Now, they come with this plastic black finger groove grip, which is cool. It functions fine. It feels okay. I think it just looks uglier than sin on this weapon, because I do. I think the old underfolders like this, I think they should look like the original old AKs with the slant break up front and then some kind of a wood grip. And to cure that, this is going to end up on the weapon eventually. This is a laminated wood grip. I got this in Odessa, Ukraine, in a sporting goods store while my wife and I were visiting her family. And we went in, we were talking to the guys at the gun counter, and they, of course, wanted to know everything about AR-15s. And I said, who cares about AR-15s? I want to know about those full auto AKs in your glass case. That's what I want to talk about. So they had a couple of older AKs that would have originally had these wood components on them that they stripped off and then put on polymer plastic crap. And hey, teach their own, that's cool. I know they wanted to dress them up to sell them. But what that meant was when I said, hey, do you guys have any Bakelite grips or wood grips or anything just old laying around, stuff that I think I could use, they dug into their box of parts and they had a few things laying around that they gifted me. And they said, hey, as our gift of friendship, the lovers, they love American firearms and I love Soviet firearms, so we did a little handshake and they gave me a couple parts, among them this grip. So this grip will eventually live at home on this weapon. I just got to do a very slight modification at the top to make it fit around the lug where the bolt runs into. So minor modifying, but that will eventually live on there. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this weapon. It is Zastava, Serbia. It is a stamped receiver weapon. Wood grips. It's got a slightly heavier profile barrel than what you would see on the Bulgarians or the Russians. It is cold hammer forged, not chrome lined. Now some guys think chrome line is the end all be all of barrels. Now if you have a good quality stamped and hammer forged barrel like this is, the chrome lining isn't necessarily going to make it that much greater. It makes it more corrosion resistant. All it means though on a barrel like this where it's not chrome lined is when you shoot the gun, clean the gun. It's not that difficult. A lot of guys I know like to think, well, the beauty of an AK is you never have to clean it. You shoot it, you put it away, which is fine. If I found an old piece of crap laying out in the battlefield, that's what I would do. I would just shoot it until it broke and not worry about it. But when I'm spending my own hard money, my hard-earned money, I'm going to fire, I'm going to clean it, I'm going to oil it, I'm going to take care of it, because in my wacky head someday, I envision my great-grandkids still shooting these weapons and having fun with them the way I did. So, take care of your weapon. Oil it. Shoot it, oil it. Repeat. Not that big of a deal. Basically, let's see, let's just go through it real quick. So, initial impression, right when you pull out of the box, of course, for me, I go right to the wood or the hand grips or whatever it may be. I don't know why my eyes are drawn to them. But the wood on this is okay. It's smooth. It's been sanded. That's about it, though. There's no finish on it. There's nothing. So a lot of guys might look at that. I know when Julia looked at it, she said, oh, the wood, when she first looked at it and inspected it, and she said, yeah, I was a little worried that the wood was just, And I said, no, that's fine. That's a project. I can sand it, smooth it out a little bit more, and then I can oil it and really, really bring out the look of the grain and all that. So that's just a project. That's fine with me. Just note, these hand grips do not interchange with Russian or Bulgarian hand grips. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll throw on a set of something else, it won't work. These are pretty much proprietary as far as I know. But that's fine. Who cares? We'll just clean them up. They work. That's all they need to do is work. So let's see, we'll work our way from the forward back. It's got the classic slant brake, which is going to stay on there. Yes, it's not the most functional. It's not the best brake that they make for AKs anymore. But on this type of weapon, it looks correct. So it's going to stay there. Of course, you got your cleaning rod, blah, 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 your hand grips, gas tube, and your graduated sight, which goes out to 1,000 yards, which is, of course, very, very optimistic. And then getting back into the back, you got your bolt, dust cover, your safety. The safety is a little interesting on these. Initially out of the box, the safety was very stiff. Very, very stiff. And what I did was you pop the dust cover off, you rotate the safety so it's vertical, like so, and then you just bend it slightly away from the receiver. Just to take a little bit of that spring where it wants to press into the receiver. You're just working the metal just a little bit, and then you end up with a nice, smooth safety, just like that. Very cool. So, features of this, you might notice there's a little notch cut in here. What that allows you to do is you can then rack your bolt to the back, drop your safety like so, and you can sit with the bolt open. Now, this ships with a Yugoslav bolt hold open magazine, which allows you, when you're firing, on the last shot, it'll hold your bolt back. Now, it only works with the Yugoslav bolt hold open magazine, so it's not like you can drop in a Bakelite mag or a Tapco or a Bulgarian mag and it's going to work. It only works on those Yugoslavian bolt hold open magazines. And there's a couple shops that sell surplus ones. I think they're 10, 11 bucks. They're not that expensive. So if you're going to get a weapon like this, especially a Yugoslav or a zastava variant, which, you know, Yugoslavia is now Serbia and all that stuff, plan on buying some bolt hold open magazines just to have with the rifle, because they will allow you to have the full function of the bolt hold open. So what's kind of cool about it is, let's say this was a fully loaded mag and you dropped it in and just left it sitting like so. What would happen then is, if you needed to go on the ready and you grab your weapon and you go, oh crap, I need to defend the house, you're hog hunting, you're doing whatever you're doing, and oh, there's something I need to shoot, you would just grab your weapon, you would just rack your safety from safe to fire, and it drops the bolt, grabs that first top round, chambers your weapon, and now you're ready to rock and roll. Boom. And repeat. So that's pretty cool. The other cool thing about that is, if you are a range guy, or if you just plan on going to the range a lot and you have the safety guys that come by at ceasefire, if you don't have a barrel flag, you can then also rack the bolt back, put it in the safe, and it would hold your bolt open so they could see you have an empty chamber. So that's, I think, a lot of what that's going to be used for is just at the ranges. I can see a lot of guys, that's the only reason they ever use it. So anyway, it's cool, it's there, whatever. Trigger, it's a Tapco G2 trigger, which is a very great trigger. Lots of people talk about how awesome they are. They are awesome, they feel good, they're light, they're crisp, they're smooth. So it's a nice little present that they put in there for you, is that Tapco G2 trigger. Racking the bolt. Initially out of the box, it was a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Dragging something through a box of rocks. That's a good way to put it. It was just real crude, it was bad. I cleaned it, oiled it, and then I did the thing where I sat around playing with this for a couple hours last night, just kind of over and over doing this. And after doing that a couple hundred times and nearly driving Julia to insanity, it now works pretty smooth. So it's a lot better. I expect after firing it a couple hundred times, it'll get even better and it'll smooth itself out, which is typically what these things do. So initially out of the box, it felt a little gritty. It's smoothed out. It'll probably get smoother. Now, you know what? Let me open this up. So to pop the dust cover, of course you need to push on this back button, which is normal, but you have the additional button right here on the side that also has to be pressed in. So you have to do the push down on the little side button, push down on the top, or on that back thing, or the back button, and it'll release the dust cover. And same thing to get the recoil spring out. You have to push that little button in, and it allows the recoil spring to release. And inside, it's just typical AK stuff. You got your bolt, you got your piston, which is all standard fare, and then the insides, the guts of the weapon. Hopefully you can see this. This is very clean and very well oiled, and that is because I did that. Zastava, it seems to save time, is not cleaning out all of the metal filings. So when these things are coming off the line, it seems like they're coming off the line, they're grabbing bolts, they're grabbing pistons, they're slapping things together, putting a dust cover on, and out it goes, put it in a box, ship it to America, give us our money. It seems, and I've heard that they have become, the Zastava factory with these, the line of Npap weapons has become so busy, it seems like they're cutting a corner here and there to get these things out the door as fast as they can. I don't mind that I have to clean out a bunch of metal filings. It's not a big deal, but if I didn't know that was there, and I just said, oh, let's go shoot it, then that might present a problem if you have those metal filings getting into everything. But, so I would say, when you get your weapon, open it up, inspect it, check it out, because there will be some metal filings. Now, I'm not talking about one or two, I'm talking about a good amount. Not enough that you're going to fill up a cup or anything like that, but there's enough that initially you go, oh, crap, what the heck? And then you realize, oh, they just didn't clean the weapon after they came off the assembly line. So it just means you just take a rag, clean them out as best you can, get in all little nooks and crannies, and then just re-oil the weapon, and you're good to go. So that's all I did. Not a deal breaker, especially for the price, but you just need to be aware. Check for metal filings. So other than that, the bolt, the piston, that's all standard fare stuff. There's nothing that dramatic about those. There we go, put that back together, do that, slide that in. And, putting it back together, reassembling is all pretty standard stuff. Now be sure when you put your recoil spring back in and you drop it in the notch, it will not fully seat. You have to push in, again, that little side button. You have to push that little button in order for that to fully seat. And again, with the dust cover, you have to press in both that little side button to get that to drop fully. So when you're disassembling, this side button is important, and when you're reassembling, that side button is important. If you don't know about that, it will drive you crazy. I had a good buddy of mine. He bought a fixed stock zastava. He did not know about this little side button, and he texted me over and over going, "I'm fighting this dust cover. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing." And I said, "Did you check the little side button?" And he said, "What side button?" So once he realized that was there, his life got a lot easier. So other than that, let's see, function of the side folder. So I'm going to put a mag in. It is empty. I'm not going to do the whole like here, check my mag thing. So side folder, function. You got a big button right here. And this big button is very stiff and very difficult to work. So I would, again, recommend cleaning and oiling. This has gotten a lot better. Out of the box initially, last night, this was really difficult to press. I am not a lightweight little guy who has no strength. And that was real difficult even for me. So clean it, oil it, repeat as necessary. Work the stock back and forth just to kind of loosen everything up. So in order to function this thing, you push in the button, then you just rotate the stock. See? There we go. Then you would fold the back piece like that, and then you would just do like so. And it all locks into place. And what is cool is, if you prefer, or if you like, you can operate the weapon with the stock folded. So that's cool. You can still function, fire, all that. I've heard guys complain about the weight of these, and they're heavier, this, that, the other thing. Maybe if you're one of these people that never ever has seen a weight or a gym, but I can hold this one-handed, and that's with my elbow against my side, but I can even hold it outreach, outstretched, arm outstretched. It's not the lightest thing in the world, but I'm not overly struggling with it. So it is not, it might be a little bit heavier, but it's not like it's added another 10 pounds to the weapon. It's nothing that I see myself fighting with. The only thing I would see myself fighting with is, let me extend this, is the stock itself, which is the selling feature of this weapon. And the only reason I say that is because this stock was obviously not built for comfort. And that is what you would expect going into this. It is not built for comfort. It is not meant to be a light, cushy pillow for you to rest your head, your shoulder, your face on, especially when firing a 7.62 39 cartridge. I've heard guys talk, and I've seen videos where guys have talked about sharp edges and things cutting and all, and I don't know what they're talking about because there's no sharp edges on here. All the edges they're rounded, they're deburred. There's nothing that I would worry about cutting myself on. So I don't know really what they're talking about. Now, I could see where these right here, I could see where these might act as something to snag on, a snag point. You might snag a piece of clothing, a shirt or a jacket on them, but they're not sharp. I mean, I'm pressing my thumb into these really hard. They're not sharp at all. They're nice, soft, rounded edges. They're just these two pieces of metal that stick up. So I'm not sure what they mean by sharp edges. Maybe they mean these acting as kind of forks. But nothing on here I would worry about cutting me or digging, or slicing me open or anything like that. So, maybe they just mean these pieces that stick out, but as far as sharp edges, I'm not seeing it. The only thing that would be very uncomfortable, I would see, after prolonged shooting or shooting a lot, is this stock working against, say, just a thin cotton t-shirt. Generally, when you look at military pictures, guys who carry an underfolder, generally they're wearing some kind of a jacket, a winter coat, something that's going to provide some kind of a cushion for that buttstock. So what I would suggest is probably doing a paracord wrap on the buttstock, as well as whether you're a left shooter or a right-handed shooter. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to paracord just this section of the buttstock, and that's where my face would rest when firing, just to give it that little bit of cushion, that little bit of protection from the metal bouncing off my face. It's not comfortable. I mean, you can get a cheek weld, but when I fire this, I fully expect to be some shock and a lot of concussion going through that metal right into the cheekbone, and I can see that getting painful after a while. So we'll address that with some paracord and just go from there. But other than that, it is built well. It looks good. I can see a project in the future with the hand guards, the wood, as well as the pistol grip. But other than that, out of the box impression is it's a little crude. It's a little bit more crude than, say, a Bulgarian or a Russian built weapon. But you can see where they cut some corners in order to save some time and money. I wouldn't say that necessarily lessened quality. It just presents a little bit filthy when you pull it out of the box. It needs a little cleaning and needs some oiling right out of the box. Other than that, everything fit, finish is all adequate. It's, I would say, AK adequate. Now, once I fire it, I will be curious to see, accuracy. Again, I don't go out to a range and try to shoot. My challenge is not to shoot every bullet inside of another bullet hole. I don't care about that. What I care about is if I'm standing and shooting at 50 yards, 100 yards, if I'm laying on the ground, that kind of stuff. The practical application, we'll say. Not, if something were to happen, we don't all have a shooter's bench wherever we may be. So I would say, train, shoot, have fun, but do it standing, laying down, sitting on the ground, things like that. Practice that way. That's more practical. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this functions in practical test shooting. Can it hit a steel plate at 100 yards, 200 yards, whatever it may be. So that'll be the fun part. I'm excited about that. So otherwise, I'm going to wrap up this video because I'm looking at the clock and I want to get on the road and go skiing. So I'm going to do that. But anyway, that is the first initial impression out of the box of this Npap underfolder. Again, I am very excited about this weapon. I like these a lot. I can't wait to play with it and shoot it and have fun with it. And other than that, like I said, fit and finish is good. Cleanliness out of the box is not good. But beyond that, clean it, oil it, go fire it, clean, oil, repeat. And it should be fine. But I will give a full review after I've dropped a bunch of ammo through this. And we'll see how it holds up. And we'll see how it holds up after a long-term test as well. And make sure everything's holding together. The rivets, nothing's getting loose. None of the pins are getting loose, anything like that. So anyway, that's it. If you have any comments, questions, shoot them over to me. And I will do my best to get back to them and answer questions, comments as best as I can. Other than that, I'm going to fill up with coffee, get some food in my belly, and then I am hitting the road. So enjoy your Christmas, everybody. And stay safe out there wherever you're at. And that's it. Have fun and take care of each other. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.